Okay, well, hello everyone. It's me, Professor Cañedo here. And before you guys head out to your spring vacation destinations, or if you're doing a staycation, I thought I'd go ahead and just get one more video for you before the spring vacation officially begins, because of all the administrative stuff that goes in at the beginning of the of a new eight week session, and of course all the things left over from the previous 8 week session, such as taking care of the grades. It took me a bit longer than usual to get this video to you, um, uh, but I'm working on the video right now, and what I'm going to do for you is talk a little bit more about how the discussion board process works. And this video is actually for everybody. So if you're in the Chicano Studies, the 141A class, or if you're in either the Southwestern classes, the History Mass 141, section 502 and 504. This video is for all of you, because the information is essentially the same across the board. The deadlines for the for your group, for your group, your forum comments, and all the due dates, all the questions, those are same across the board. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit more about this. But first, let me say a couple quick things about the recording process that I'm using here. You're not going to be seeing me for this particular video. I'm actually using a software called Camtasia, in which the software records my voice, but the only thing that you'll be seeing, the visual that you'll get, will be what's on the screen on the screen on the screen itself. And I think this is the same type of program that the that Sal Khan, the one who does that nonprofit Khan Academy, does. You've probably seen his commercials. I think it's either for Wells Fargo. No, I think it's for Bank of America, one of those banks in which Mr. Khan is in the video. And again, his all his videos use programs, I think, comparable. I don't know if it's Camtasia, but it's like Camtasia, in that the software records his voice, or whoever it is doing the videos, but you just see the information that's listed on the computer monitor. All right. Well, what I have right here is I actually have all three discussion boards all queued up and ready to go. So what you're seeing right now, this is the discussion board for those of you in the 141A class. Let me hit the tab right here. Okay, and for those of you in the 141 section 502, this is your discussion board. And then over here in the 141 section 504, this is your discussion board. So I'll go ahead and use the section 504 discussion board for the sample, but again, the information is going to be the same across the board, no matter which class that you're in. All right. Well, right now I have all the groups arranged, and I got them in alphabetical order. So right now, I'm looking at those of you in section 504. Group 1, I've got everybody with last names A to G. And then if we scroll down to Group 2, those of you, excuse me, those of you with last names from H to P, you're in Group 2. And then those of you at the final third of the alphabet with last names from R to V. And there your names are there. So Rebecca to Yesenia. You'll be in Group 3, and everyone else in between with last names R to V is in Group 3. But remember that this will be different. This will be different across the board in terms of the grouping of the last name. So definitely, depending which class you're in, double check to make sure you know that you're in the right group. But again, the basic rule of thumb is that if your last name comes in the roughly the first third of the alphabet, you're in Group 1. If your last name comes in about the middle third of the alphabet, you're in Group 2, and then in the final third of the alphabet, you'll be in Group 3. And I've got your form. Of course, your form questions are all set, and your due date. So the way this works is that you post your forum comments the week after the reading. So we just finished up with week 1. So those of you in Group 1, you post your comments at the end of week 2. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm giving everybody a week to go to the readings, analyze them, interpret them, digest them, or whatever term you wish to use. And then the week after the readings, then that's when you go ahead and post your discussion comments. Of course, the thing that'll really complicate things is the fact that as we get to the last week of the session, for the most part, everybody, doesn't matter which group you're in, you'll have to post your comments in that final week. And likewise, since since we only have eight weeks, but I've got three groups. Unfortunately, um, I can't tell the Southwestern or the Mesa people, the San Diego district people to add an extra week to make sure that there's enough continuity with the forms. In other words, if we had a 9 week session, then I could split it evenly in terms of the forms. So what I did was when we get to week 7, groups 1 and 2, you'll work together in form 7. Basically, it's sort of a jumbo form, a mega form, so to speak. Uh, but again, the reason being is to ensure that the continuity, so that everyone can work up. Every group can respond to 3 forms per session. Okay, all right. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about how to actually post your comments, and I'll give you some pointers and some key terms to identify. So again, we're working with a 141 section 504 for the video. But again, as I said before, the information is the same whether you're in section 502 or you're in the 141A class. All right. Since we just wrapped up with the first week, those of you in group 1, what your job is between now and April 10th, the week after we come back from spring break, is those of you in group 1, and again, and this information applies to those of you in groups 2 and 3. What you're to do is to choose a question that you want to work on, because participation, of course, will make up 10% of your class grade. So this is the way in which you're going to participate. So what you're to do between now and April 10th is choose one of the questions that you want to work on. We have a variety of questions pertaining here to the pre-classic period and earlier periods in Mesoamerica, and also a question here about the Michael Wood legacy. Even though the film is on Mesopotamia, it's not Mesoamerica. I think a lot of the values and ideas that Wood talks about with Mesopotamia, that is Iraq, ancient Sumeria, Assyria, Babylonia, those places. I think a lot of the values and terms and ideas with respect to Mesopotamia do apply to Mesoamerica. And I have a question about that, but the vast majority of the questions pertain to Mesoamerica. So what you're to do is, everybody in the group, and there should be enough questions for everybody in the group, choose one question that you want to work on. So let's take Mario, for example. Let's say Mario, you like the question about the Olmecs. That is question 5. So what your job is, Mario, is you enter the form, and then to enter the form, just click the light blue link here. Okay, and then what you're to do, Mario, is claim the question. So the way you claim a question that you want to work on is you simply hit the create thread button. So hit create thread, and then when you enter into the area, indicate in the subject area, I want to answer question 5, or Professor, I'll take question 5, I'll claim 5, blah, 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 that type of thing. And then just put a quick note indicating that you want to work on that question. In fact, I have here in all of the forms, actually, in all three, in all of the early 3 forms, both written directions. So I have written directions here which basically complement what I'm talking about in this video, and also a sample claim right here. So let me show you what a sample claim looks like. Let's just go ahead and click the light blue link here. Okay, and basically I'm just saying that I want to answer the question. So in your subject, make sure you indicate the question that you want to work on, because this informs the group that hey, the question is claimed. I want to do this. I want to work on this question, and I'll have the answer for everybody within the next 3 or 4 days. That type of thing. So again, in the subject area, when you create your thread, enter the number of the question that you want to work on, and then just put a quick note in the subject area indicating that, hola everybody, I want to work on question 5 or question 7, blah blah blah, that type of thing. You don't have to be as extensive as what I'm writing here, but you get the idea. So let's click OK and get back into the forum. And then Mario will go back to you for a second. So what happens is Mario's claim is listed here. So it'll indicate that he wants to answer question 5 about the Olmecs, and then his name is going to be listed here, and then everyone else in the group follows suit. So remember, everybody, choose one question per person, but write a detailed answer to that particular question. So in other words, I don't want a case where one person gets greedy and wants to answer questions 1, 2, 6, and 7. I've seen it happen from time to time, not very often, but it does happen. If that does happen, I will erase those extra claims. So only choose one claim per one question per claim, and likewise, make sure you use up all the all the questions. So, for example, if Mario chooses question 5, and then someone else in the group says, "Well, also wants to answer question 5," I can't let that happen because Mario made the claim first. I will let his claim stand. But the individual who chose a question 5 after Mario, I'm going to erase that. So, in other words, I want everybody to work on one question specifically, stick with that question, only one per person, first come, first serve, that type of thing. But if we get to a point where we start running out of questions, please let me know. I'll add some more questions, but I think we should have enough questions for everybody in this particular group. All right, so what happens is, after the question has been claimed, and let's say Mario claims this question, now Mario has to go back a little bit later on before April 10th and then post his what I call original comments. That is the answer to the question that he chose. So for example, when Mario says, "I'll answer question 5," that's the claim. But then when he writes the full answer to the question about the Olmecs, let's go back to the main board to see what the question was. Okay, the question was about the iconography and physical imagery in Olmec art. So before April 10th, Mario is then going to write his full answer to the question. He will say, yes, the iconography and physical imagery indicate that it's a theocratic rule. The evidence from ancient Mexico bears out this fact. With the images of the jaguars, and also the close proximity to the mountains, to the rivers, to the streams, and then its connection with water, blah, 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 that type of thing. So you get the idea. So in other words, the answer that Mario gives to the Olmec art one, that's what's called the original comment. That is his response, his reply to the question that he claims. So what Mario did was he did two things in the form. He claimed the question and he answered it, but that's only half the battle, because what happens now is that, and let's go back into the form for a second here. When you post your original comments, now the next thing you have to do, and you can do this actually a little bit later after the April 10th due date, because remember, the due dates in the forms mean those are the dates that I want your original comments. But you can post what I call replies after that. So let's say we come into April 13th or April 14th, and then Mario goes back into the forum and excuse me. And then he begins posting his replies or his responses. And by replies, I mean you have to go back and respond to somebody else in the forum. And you have to do two replies. One reply to somebody else in the group, one of your classmates in the group, another reply to me, to el profesor. So for example, let's go back to the Olmec question again. Mario posts his comment, and then I come back and say, that's a very good, excellent point, Mario. Let me quickly add to this a little bit more, because if you look at the research from the findings that Michael Coe made back in 1970, blah blah blah, he did this, he did that. So what I did was I responded to Mario. I replied to what he said. So what happened is Mario has to go back then and reply to me. So then he might say something, I agree with the professor. But the other thing that I found interesting was the fact that over here at the La Venta site, these images also underscore or seem to indicate more political prisoners and captives and combat and savagery, blah blah blah, that type of thing. So in other words, what Mario does is he has to reply to me after I respond to him, and then someone else in the forum, whatever his or her response is, and then Mario then goes back and replies. So in other words, everybody, the way it works is this. In each forum, you have to post at least 3 replies, 3 comments. One is your original comment, one is your reply to someone else in the group, that is one of your classmates in the group, and then one to me, one to el profesor. So after I reply to you, whether it's whether it's Mario or anyone else in anyone else in the class and in the group. Once I post my response, then you have to come back and reply back to me. I try to say. So you get the idea. So in other words, those are things that you have to do. Uh, so not only post original comments, but please post replies to others. And again, that's at least two, one to me and one to somebody else in the group. You'll be surprised, everybody. A lot of people, I've seen this time and time again. They do a good job in that they give good detailed responses to their questions. They have they post strong original comments, but they don't reply to anybody else in the group. And and I mentioned at the beginning of the session, please reply to everybody, but the message gets lost, people forget, and by the end of the session, what happens is people who should get A's for their responses get B's because they forgot to reply to others in the class and to me as well. So don't forget about that, everybody. If you want to make sure that you get an A for your participation, you have to do three things. You have to have your original comment, your reply to somebody else in the group, and the reply to el profesor, to me as well. So you keep all that in mind, keep that straight, and you'll have no problem doing well in this part of the class. All right, and with that, I hope between what I have here in the video and what I have in my directions, I have across the board for both 141 sections and the 141A section. So the information is the same across the board here. So between the video and my written instructions, I hope all of these things are helpful. But again, if you have any questions or concerns from now on, please start making use of Message for Professor. Use that to contact me instead of my email, and this way, I'll ensure or will ensure that you get a more rapid reply to me regarding any issues or concerns about the class. What happens is after about the second or third week of the session, I prefer to keep my email open mainly for administrative stuff, for bureaucratic stuff. So if it's news from Dean Zappia at Mesa, or whether it's from Dean Meadows from Southwestern, or any of my colleagues at those two schools, I prefer to keep my email open for that. But all class communications, all class messages, please start using Message for Professor, and likewise too. And let me get out of the form here. And likewise too, if you have a question on anything that you not only want me to me to look at, me to analyze, but if you want to share it with the rest of the class, especially if it's an issue with a book or maybe a formation of study guides, or I'm sorry, study groups, please use general form for more general types of things. Okay. Oh, again, general form, of course, this is in Southwestern, but for the 141A class, you're called main form. In fact, let's go back to the Mesa group. So again, for those of you in the 141A class, you have main form and also Q&A form. But for everybody in the 141 sections, you have general form. That's about the only distinction in terms of other information. But like I said, all the information about how I arrange the groups, the questions, and the due dates, those are all the same across the board here. All right, everyone. So that's that. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll definitely have more videos for everybody. Some new, some from the first part of the semester, others from last year, some going back to 2013. I've got a lot more of those coming up as we come back from the spring break. So that's it from here. You guys take care. Have a great spring break, and I'll talk to you all again coming up on Monday. The what's the date? I think the 5th. Okay, yeah, Monday the 5th or 6th or other, but yeah, Monday the 6th. So I'll talk to you again on Monday, April 6th.